And to culture wars. Well, two Russian hoaxes who fooled Elton John quite notoriously, they've struck again. This time they claim they twice rang Prince Harry in Canada, pretending to be global warming extremist Greta Thunberg and her dad. And they've released tape of the conversations. Now, I don't know whether the tape is real, although the British press thinks it is. Normally, I think it'd be questionable to play a secret recording of a private conversation, but it's been so widely reported now that it's silly, I guess, to ignore it or pretend it didn't happen. So here is part of it where Harry lays into Donald Trump and shows how much of a climate alarmist he now is. And I should say that the graphics are not by us, they're by the hoaxes.
Unfortunately, the world is being led by some very sick people. Stop any change from happening. But at the moment, the fossil fuel industry and certain presidents around the world are driving completely the wrong agenda. And I think the most important thing to do is, I don't mind saying this to you guys, I think the mere fact that Donald Trump is pushing the coal industry so big in America, he has blood on his hands, because the effect that has on the climate and on the island nations far, far away, again, out of sight, out of mind. But we've visited those places, and I'm sure you have as well. People's lives have been completely destroyed. People are dying every single month by some form of natural disaster that has been created from this huge change in our climate.
Just do one fact check of many I could do there. Those drowning islands, in fact, 86% of them are stable or increasing. 43 of them, 43% are in fact increasing in size. So global warming seems not to be drowning islands at all. Joining me is Rowan Dean, author, editor of The Spectator Australian, presenter of Outsiders on Sunday mornings, which he keeps boasting is the most popular show on Sky. Well, there you go. Rowan, look, we don't know if that tape is real. It sounds like Harry. The British press think it's Harry. He hasn't denied it's Harry, but we don't know. So with that big proviso, if that is indeed Harry, what does that tell you?
Well, it's fascinating, Andrew, but first of all, there's a couple of clues that maybe it isn't Harry, or maybe he's not that bright, because in the clip you just played, he thinks he's talking to Greta Thunberg and her dad, but he refers to them as you guys. And I would have thought anybody who knows their David Morrison agenda and has read the thing up on the toilet wall knows you never call a girl guys, because that's sexism. So that's the first thing he's done. And he also... he carries on a little bit. He talks later on the clip about being woke and going on about how woke he is. And this I found quite disturbing, because what we basically see, Harry is now part of the globe. This is the thing that tells us that perhaps it is true, and that this is really Harry on the end of the phone. But he also... Sorry, the other thing I was going to say that says that perhaps it's not real is that he mentions... he says to Greta and her dad, you must have seen all these islands around the world like I have. Well, we know that Greta's only sailed once to America because she doesn't go anywhere by aeroplane. So there's another clue in there, but that maybe this isn't the real thing. But Harry hasn't yet come out and denied it, so let's assume it is true, because as you said, these hoaxes have successfully hoaxed Elton John in the past, they've hoaxed Bernie Sanders in the past, and others. So there's the suggestion is there that it is real, and it does sound like him. But later on in the clip, he goes on about how woke he is, Andrew. And this really, I find, goes to the heart of the problem that we've discussed before about Harry and Meghan becoming political activists. Indeed, Harry's father, Prince Charles, becoming a political activist, and his brother, the future King William, also becoming political activists, because Harry, the idea that, oh, you can talk about climate change, but it's not political, which has kind of been the line the Windsors have tried to spin, is completely lanced by this particular, if it is true, conversation, in which Harry goes on to diss Donald Trump, to say that Donald Trump is sick, he has blood on his hands because he supports the fossil fuel industry. But then the would-be Harry, or Harry if it is him, launches into this bizarre thing about being woke. And woke, of course, is the idea of being awakened, and he actually uses these terms and says, you're awakened. This is a very religious type movement. I'm awakened. I see the light.
Did he actually say that? I
yes,
missed that. Did he say awakened?
Yes, he says we've got to wake people up. We've got to wake people up, and they've got to be awakened to what's going on in the world. So we're really seeing, if it is Harry, the influence of Meghan, this incredibly quasi-religious climate change agenda, which does lead you to believe that he probably would be taken in if he thought Greta was on the end of the line. Now, I don't know which of those two guys pretended to be Greta, because we didn't hear any "how dare you" stuff going on, which was disappointing.
I can't wait to see how they carry that off. I've only managed to find this bit of tape, and when they get the rest, I don't know. No, well, it's interesting you say that about awakening, because, of course, I think America had a great religious movement at one stage called, I think, the Great Awakening. So maybe that's where he got it from.